Okay, how are we going to start this? Do we read through? No. We go Penance Brand of Dissipation. Okay, Penance Brand of Dissipation now activates every 0.75 seconds while attached, previously 0.6. Has 50% damage effectiveness, previously 65. Now deals, we don't care at level 1, up to 347, previously 423. Pulses now deal 30% more damage with hits, previously 60% more. Oh, that's more than 50%. Oh, this change on its own might have been enough. This change here on its own might have been enough. That's a lot. That's a lot to do. I don't think I want to start Penance Brand of Dissipation. That's too many things. This change, I think, was called for. And you could maybe convince me that the added damage effectiveness going from 65 to 50 at the same time might have also been okay. To lower its base damage by this much on top of that and its activation frequency, that feels like actually too much, and I don't think you're going to want to play it anymore. Well, mostly because we're comparing it to other brands. Like at this point, you've nerfed it so much that I'll just play Storm brand, right? Unless. Now there's a 60% damage effectiveness, previously 65. A cast time of 0.75 seconds, previously 0.35. And now deals at level 20, 515 instead of 686. Quality now deals 10% more damage instead of 20. Summon Raging Spirit's melee attack no longer naturally gains 38% more damage as it levels. Wait. Wait, what? Excuse me? That feels yikes. Who? SRS feels dead. That feels dead. That's it wasn't. That feels dead. That feels dead to me. Okay. All right. What else was I possibly thinking about League starting? Let's just search those really quick. Tornado Shot now has an attack speed multiplier of 80%, previously 100. And now uses the same bow animation as a puncture skill. It now has a mana cost of 10, previously 8, scaling up to 12, previously 10. Quality now provides 40% projectile speed instead of firing an additional arrow. It's fine. Tornado Shot's still fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Secondary projectile arrow. Yeah, no, we're losing the secondary projectile, but it's fine. It's fine. Targets. Okay, so nothing for lightning arrow. Lightning arrow of electrocution. Arrow now deals final damage to 4 targets. Yep, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Sniper's Mark now causes them to take unchanged up to 29% at gem level 20 instead of 35. Projectiles which should curse enemies now split up to 2 targets at all levels, previously 2 at level 1 and 4 at level 20. Ooh, 2 less projectiles. Certainly enough, but I think that's probably still fine. I think that's probably still fine. There's 5, so you lose 3, not 2. Yeah. But it was like, by a long shot, the best mark in the game. So I think I'm okay with it. I think this is fine. This is a fine enough. We can deal with that. All right. What else do I want to look up before I start reading through them? I know. SRS lost 38% damage. It's just straight up lost a 38% more damage multiplier. That's rough. I'm tempted to call SRS dead, but we want to read through all the patch notes before we declare it dead. But Summon Raging Spirit's melee attack no longer naturally gains up to 38% more damage as it levels. Means we're literally missing a 38% more damage multiplier. That's a lot of damage to be missing. A lot. A lot. Meta for poison? Yeah, it does. It's directly 38% less damage. It matters for all of the flat added it matters for all the flat added chaos, which then affects the poison. Where are the Necromancer changes? Where are the Necromancer changes that go with that? Ascendancy changes. Sentinel of Radiance granted by now deals fire damage equal to 20%, previously 30%. And has a base radius of 4 meters instead of 4.5. Okay, so Sentinel of Radiance nerfed. Mindless Aggression Ascendancy no longer causes minions to have 10% increased movement speed, 10% increased attack speed, 10% increased cast speed, or cause them to deal 30% increased damage. Now causes them to deal 10% more damage and 20% more maximum life. That's great. That is fantastic. Bone Barrier Ascendancy no longer grants... The Bone Barrier Ascendancy no longer grants the Bone Armor skill and no longer provides 2% increased life recovery rate per minion up to 20%. All minions have 20% maximum life, and now instead gives minions of 40% of life added as extra energy shield, and 1% of the damage dealt by your minions leached to you as life. Very interesting. Love that. None of it saved None of this saved SRS. Okay. The Unholy Might buff no longer grants 30% of physical as extra chaos. It now instead provides 100% of physical damage converted to chaos and a 25% chance to apply Wither on hit. No, that doesn't save us either. That doesn't save us either. Okay, so a little bit hesitant as to whether or not either version of SRS are even worth playing at all. But certainly new minion builds are available. Certainly there are some new minion builds available, but I don't know if either the Poison SRS or the Guardian Necro are going to be appropriate builds at all. Wraithlord Necromancer, on the other hand, looks quite good. I would definitely like to give that one a go. That's all the things I wanted to like pick out specifically and look for. So I'm still going to read through the entire thing, but I just wanted to do them right at the beginning because those were the things that like directly affect me. Is it time? All right, we're going to read through the whole thing. All right, we picked out our real important things that directly affect our league start options. Now we're going to read through the whole thing. All right, starting at the top. Let's go. All right, Necropolis. We already know about the Necropolis. We don't really need to read this part. I'm pretty excited to do Necropolis, but we'll see how that goes. Eight and Ruthless. Yep, cool. New content and features. The following uniques have been added to the core drop pool: Storm's Gift, Nametaker, Pragmatism, Burn of Shadows. Yep, and the Untouched Soul. Yep, cool. Added a new support gem, Sacred Wisps. I'm real excited about this gem. Supports attack skills that can be used with wands. Supported skills can only be used with wands. Cannot support Vaal skills, minion skills, or movement skills, or skills used by totems, traps, or mines. Summon Sacred Wisp is triggered by a support skill. To summon a Sacred Wisp, it uses the triggered skill when you do. So that was the one we saw in the trailer. We need numbers on that, but it's basically, it seems like it's a different mechanic, but its job is to take the place of Mirage Archer in wanding builds instead of bow builds, which is very exciting to me because frankly, Wanders needed something like that, and I'm pretty happy to play with that. Okay. New Intelligent Dex Gem Automation. While the skill is active, blah, blah, blah. We already know about that. And my feelings on it. Call to Arms, same thing. Transfigured versions of the following skills: Artillery Ballista, Elemental Hit, Ice Shot, Incinerate, Kinetic Blast. I want to see that. Poisonous Concoction, Summon Holy Relic, and Tornado. Alright. New currency, Veiled Scarab. Veiled Scarab? Which reveals a random scarab when clicked. A stacked deck of scarabs? Is that what that is? A scarabed deck? Okay, sure. Castles have been renamed Veiled Orbs. Blah, blah, blah. Now moved. They can drop from Katarina and no longer offered as reward from League content. This is actually like a really important thing, is the drop rate here. Because if the drop rate here is like 10 to 20%, then it's like significantly less available than it was before. And its price will be very high. If it's something around 50%, I think it'll be roughly similar priced, but instead tradable. But like its availability will be better. I don't think there's any world in which it's more than 50. We'll see though. Following currency items now have stacks of 20 Exalted Orbs, Regal Orbs, Divine Orbs, stacked decks, Crusader Exalts, Redeemer Exalts, Hunter Exalts, Warlord Exalts, Enkindling Orbs, Instilling Orbs, Tainted Exalts, and Eldritch Exalted Orbs. Fantastic. Thank you. Added cosmic, decaying, awaking, synthesizing, reality, devouring, and blazing fragments. I assume those are just like the names of the fragments for the Ubers or whatever that have moved off the tree. 14 unique items, added strong boxes to the map. Fantastic. So we can just see them. Creating a Pantheon power, the power will now appear on all of your characters for that league. Using a divine vessel when you already have the relevant power from the map unlocked will toggle the upgrades for your character. Using a divine vessel when you already have the relevant Pantheon power from a map unlock will toggle the upgrade for your character. I understand that this means I can turn it off, but how? Am I gonna like use a divine vessel and then in my window where I'm looking at my Pantheon powers, click on the one I want to take off? I don't really understand that. Or am I gonna have to go run the map again with the vessel in to get another version of the thing and then use that to turn it off? So it might be that. I don't know. Added a myriad of small improvements and surprises to the campaign. Fun encounters and secrets have been scattered throughout Raycast. Though the fundamentals of the campaign are still intact, on a totally unrelated note, the crafting recipe unlock for movement speed rank 1 can now be found in the city of San. Okay. Sure. This is going to be interesting. I don't know why you would move the rank 1 speed back unless maybe the rank 1 speed is slightly better. But I also don't know what about this myriad of small improvements and surprises in the campaign. I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm interested, but we'll see. We won't really know that until we play it. Alternative art unique items can now be converted into account-bound microtransaction by using the new /convert trace of reward chat command. The item will be destroyed and will be granted in an account-bound microtransaction that changes the appearance of an item to match the one that's destroyed. I am so very, very sad that I don't have an alt art Alpha's Howl on standard to use this on. Oh my god. Oh, I wish I had invested time in the last few years collecting alt arts on standard. It's too late now. The price of them just skyrocketed. Oh, that's great, but I don't own any. It's great though. 374 more foiled maps, sure. 73 more foiled unique items, sure. Which has received audio dialogue for part 2, sure. A new trade sound notification and increase the volume of the party notification sound. Okay. Shield Cross of Chieftains, even new visuals, sure. Continue to incrementally improve sound, art, and effects of the environment. Listen, as soon as you make it so that I can use sound-induced maps, I'd be real happy about it. I hate it whenever I get to the time where I have to turn sounds off. The sounds are already great, to be honest. Your sounds are fantastic. It's some of the best stuff about PoE is the sounds. Pity I have to turn them all off every time I get introduced content. Like... Okay. We've made a profit changes to endgames, blah, blah, blah. The most difficult and most rewarding content can be found in Ubers. Okay, so that's the change to the Ubers that they talked about. This means wasteful to run the non-Uber variants instead of simply supplying them, blah, blah, blah. Difficulty jump between Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle content was relatively large. Wasn't obvious content available to bridge this gap. Knowledge and perfect stone have been removed. Instead, we've added a new set of fragments that can be used to upgrade pinnacles. Yep. Fragments can be obtained from tier 17 maps. Cool. Tier 17 maps have 20% quality and are unmodifiable. 5 new maps in total. Cool. Uniques have been removed from the core. For each of the bosses, existing unique items have been removed from the core drop pool and are now exclusive. Yep. The Darkseer unique scepter now has +2 to all spell gems. All skill gems. And +2 maximum mana per level, previously just 1. And +2 energy shield per level, previously just 1. No longer has 60% global damage. A divine orb can be used to obtain the adductive. Yep, cool. Enemies blinded by you have malediction. Previously, enemies blinded while you are blinded. Yo, that's actually like a really good scepter now. What? You can get +2 maximum level and 2 maximum mana and 2 maximum energy shield per level, and a +2. Malediction is a curse here. Just to... It's this one here. No, where is it? Used to be on here. Is it not on here anymore? Yeah, it's deal 10% less damage, take 10% more damage is what malediction is. So that's pretty good. Like, that's way better than this. Okay. Acept is really good. The Malachai's Endurance, Frenzy, and Power Bust from the Mark UD Glove now give a 10% chance to gain all 3. Previously 20% chance to gain. What? Oh! 10% chance on hit, previously 20% chance on kill. Nice. Nice. That's better than I thought. Manstorm unique shield now has a bunch of increased mana recovery, mana per enemy killed, and more mana. More increased mana regen. No longer has the energy shield. And doubled the rate at which it adds. It used to add 25% of the cost as lightning, now 50. I don't know if I have a use for this right now. That's a pretty meaningful buff, but I don't have a use for it. The Wraith Lord unique helmet now has 4 abyssal sockets. +1 to maximum number of specters per socketed ghastly jewel. Previously +2 to maximum number of specters. That's gorgeous. 4 specters. And +2 to level of all minion gems. Previously +2 to level of socketed minion gems. So it's now +2 all. Meaning you get your 6 link back. Because using this helmet meant you had to socket it in the helmet, and that was awkward. +2 all, and 4 additional specters. I kind of want to make a specter build, man. You lose 4 gem slots though? Yeah, but for 4 extra specters, that's pretty big. And also, specifically using this helmet, you can't use support specters support minions anyway. You don't get to use your animate guardian, your zombies, your golems, those sort of things, which are normally what leads you to having socket problems with minion builds. Using this helmet does take 4 gems away from you, but you can only use specters. So that seems fine. The Yoke of Suffering unique amulet now has enemies take 5 to 10% increased damage for each type of ailment you have inflicted on them. Previously 5%. Yo, Yoke was already a good amulet. Yoke was already a good amulet. That's a really big buff. That might actually be best in slot now. It was already pretty good. Huh. Two pinnacle bosses now have completely distinct drop pools. I love that. So made a few tweaks to the boss fight so then they are more balanced with each other. Okay. In order to challenge the Uber version of Pinnacle bosses, you must now successfully beat their non-Ubered version. Great, I guess. Sure. Place 5 of the same fragment in the map device. Place 5 of the same fragment in the map device. To challenge the relevant Uber Pinnacle fragment, you no longer need to worry about arranging the fragments in the right order. Okay. The 5th slot map device can now be unlocked upon completing a non-Valdo's tier 17 map. Oh. Cool. Voidstones now each provide tier 16 maps dropped in area have a 0.5% chance to become a tier 17 for each socketed voidstone. It doesn't say instead of, so I assume it still does its old stuff. So that's what? Per socketed voidstone, if all 4 of them do it, that's 2% per. That's 8% of my maps become T17s. Alright. Sextants and Master Mission Removal. Wait, Master Mission Removal? I must have missed that. Mention out of the game, large number of steps, blah, blah, blah. Solve this, we are removing Sextants and Master Mission Selector systems, putting significantly more power into the Scarab and Atlas tree instead. You can no longer earn Einhar, Elva, Jun, or Nico Master missions. And the accessibility to Masters has been significantly increased with changes to the Atlas passage tree. Kirac still has missions available for you though. Okay. Sextants can no longer drop and surveying compasses are no longer offered. Sure. Existing awakened sextants, elevated sextants, and charged compasses and all scarabs will be converted to veiled scarabs upon logging into 3.24.0. Okay. That's a lot of veiled scarabs some people are going to have. Like a lot. That's a lot of veiled scarabs some people are going to have. I'm not going to sit there and open all of those in standard just to see what happens. But we're going to very, very quickly get average drop rates for like what the expected return of a veiled scarab is going to be known incredibly quickly. It will be very, 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 very easy for the groups of people that do that to open 1 to 500,000 of them. Right? Like, easy. Pretty sure it's 2%, 0.5 for each voidstone. So I read that as they would get multiplicatively more powerful. Like this one stone would add 0.5 for each voidstone socketed. And this next stone would add 0.5 for each voidstone socketed. And so when you had 4, they'd be worth 2% each, is how I read it. But you could be right. They could be only 0.5 each individually, and then it's only 2% total. That's also fine. Maybe I read that wrong. That could go either way. Whatever. That's also fine. Okay. Previous sources of sextants as rewards such as Legion, Ritual, Incursion, and Sextant offered to performed by Kirac have been replaced with Scarabs. Sure. Scribed ultimatums that required awakened sextants now to sacrifice now require stack decks. Okay, sure. Listing forbidden sanctums will now give veiled scarabs on completion. Man, I hope these veiled scarabs are good. The Crucible passive skill causes an item to sell for additional sextants. Sell for 1 or 2 of each cartography scarab depending on the team. Right, okay, sure. Chance to convert maps, charge compasses, now convert them into scarabs. Okay, sure. Harvest crafting option to enchant a non-unique map with a 50% chance to not consume sextants has been removed. I gotta be honest, I would have loved for them to just leave it there, just for the joke. This would have been a good meme. The following divination cards have been temporarily disabled. Monochrome, Underground Forest, blah blah blah. All the sextant ones. Sure. Alright. Scarab rework. That's fine. Right, completely rework, blah blah blah. You might come across scarabs that simply grant access to different content and others that cause that content to grant better rewards. And its monsters to yield more experience. Each type of scarab but now has multiple versions. So if you want to fully invest in a single type of currency you can do so. So this tells me I can use scarabs at different tiers now, whereas before, if you put an ultimatum scarab in, you could just use one ultimatum scarab. If you used a basic one, you just got a shit ultimatum. If you used a really good one, you got a great ultimatum. But that was it. The way scarabs seem to work now is there's a lot of them that do different things. And if I'm like, oh, I just want to do this one mechanic, I can pick like 4 different ways to buff that one mechanic and be like, boom, there I am. Like, they're not really, it's not like this scarab is just a better version of that scarab, which was just a better version of that scarab. It's that they're all different scarabs around that mechanic, and so they're stackable now. So that's cool. All scarabs are now world drops and no longer have tiers. Some might be rarer than others, but the intention is that there'll be a lot more options than before and interesting combinations to consider. If you want to target specific scarabs, Betrayal has been updated to include most of them. Cool. In addition to reworking the current available scarabs, we'll also be introducing 20 new scarabs. Say scarabs one more time. While the system is allowing you to heavily invest in one type of content, it is reducing your capacity for variety. To address this, we have massively increased the access to content on the Atlas tree. You are now able to reliably access different content like Breach or Legion solely from your Atlas tree. So the way I read this is I can easily get 100% chance to spawn things I actually want to spawn without too much hassle. Love it. Done cutting. I think it's 23-month resub. Incursion, Delve, Betrayal, and Beastry are now accessible through Scarabs. Cool. More on the Atlas tree. Not only this, you can now have Alva, Nikojun, and Einhart all appear together in the same map. Cool. The 10 Atlas passive notables that cause your maps to have no chance to contain specific content now also cause Scarabs. Oh, now also cause Scarabs found in your map to not be that type of content. These notables now also have your maps have a plus 2% chance to contain other content that can be turned off through Atlas passives, instead of your map have a 2% chance to contain other extra content. Okay. Alright. Now have a stack size of 20, previously 10. Yeah, blocking content suddenly became worth it. Those are going to be like decent nodes now. Previous vendor recipes from Scarabs have been removed. We will add a new vendor recipe that can be used to trade 3 Scarabs for a single Scarab of a different type than those vended. Okay, sure. Following divination cards have been temporarily disabled. Yep, all of those, sure. Alright, Maven invitations no longer drop. Instead, when you've witnessed all the bosses, you'll just get it. Cool, 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 cool. We knew that. Existing Maven invitations, including quest versions, will be deleted upon login. Okay. Valdo maps have a chance. Valdo maps that have a chance to convert maps to Maven invitations now have a chance to convert maps to Scarabs. They're really going real hard on these Scarabs. I hope they're good. Atlas passive tree changes to provide more flexibility in what content we want to run in Endgame. Added the ability to have multiple Atlas trees, which can also be swapped with maps at leisure. You can unlock 2 extra sets for a total of 3 by progressing through the Endgame and completing core content. Okay, so we don't know when exactly we get those, but this is one of the longest things that I've been complaining about. This is like one of the things that I've wanted for like the longest time. This also means, and this is important for everybody, this also means we need to have a pure progression Atlas tree for League start. It doesn't matter if we can't afford to respec it right away. We can just use a second tree when we're done with progression, come back and respec that later. So there will be probably 2 or 3 different options for like the best progression trees to get us through content as quick as possible, but literally everyone is going to use one of those. We're going to use a progression tree. Unless they're all behind Ubers, in which case, but no, I don't expect all of them to be behind Ubers. In fact, I'm pretty confident. I would want to guarantee, except I don't work there. I'm sure that you'll get 1 tree by the time you get 4 watchstones, right? Maybe the other one might be behind Ubers, but I think you'll get 1 tree pretty easily. I assume at least 1 extra tree will come to everyone pretty easily. And label your sets to easily identify what content. Cool. During the Necropolis League, there will be support for the League in the Atlas passive tree. That, very interesting to me. We've added 4 clusters that allow you to enhance the gameplay and customize it, change the behavior in meaningful ways. These Necropolis clusters will not be available in the Standard League. Added a new blah blah blah, which provides all corpses with unresolved anguish in your map. Reveal a random craft when buried. Yep. Auto modifiers are applied randomly to your packs. Monster packs in your map have a 25% chance to have an additional haunted modifier, and Embers of All Flames Embers of the Oriflame cannot be found in your maps. I don't know exactly how important that will be. But this is definitely like the go fast, don't give me options button. Just like go, go, go. But what I don't know is how important embers are. If this is not important at all, chances are that I'm taking this node because, you know, less for me to manage, slightly more rewards might generically make things harder, but I don't care. I like harder. But if these are real important, then we can't take it. So it really depends on how important these are. To be determined. Add a palace throughout exploration, which provides ultraviolet voodoo. Thank you very much for this 3-month resub. Right, throughout exploration, which provide if there are fewer than 50 monsters remaining in your map, final map bosses are empowered by affliction wisps. Huh. Interesting. Okay, whatever. Add a new Atlas keystone back to basics, which provides your maps randomly have between 0 and 80% more modified effect. Fire effect. Extra content cannot appear in your maps. Cannot apply influence to your maps. Huh. If this is really good, and there's a way to do this, don't you just launch a map, and if it's not like 50% or higher more effect, you just leave and launch another map? Like, if this becomes a good strategy, you will also just be fishing for maps, right? You'll just be like, not 50, not 50, not 50. There we go. 62. Sweet, let's go. I don't love that if that's what ended up happening. But the fact that it says you cannot have extra league content in your map, that's weird. I don't know why I would use this. But if it ends up good, then people are just going to be fishing for maps, which feels... Added a new keystone, Unwavering Vision, which grants 20 Atlas passive skills, but makes it so Scarabs cannot be found in your maps. And your maps cannot be modified by fragments other than Divine Vessels. 20 Atlas passives is a lot. But $20 Atlas passives is a lot, though. Is a lot. I could see this being usable, especially early. 7th Gate, Growing Hall, Hordes, All Hands, Stream of Consciousness, Grand Design, and Wandering Path have all been removed. 7th Gate. 7th Gate is gone. I am happy about that and sad about that. No, I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. Alright, I'm gonna make a thing in my Twitch bot that was so that whenever anybody says just keep reading, it just automatically bans them. Just fucking boom. Alright. The Twist of Fate Atlas key passive now causes your corrupted rare maps and any map crafting option applied to them to be modified unpredictably when opened. with map modifiers in this way having a 1 to 3 additional random map modifiers. Okay. What? Now causes your corrupted rare maps and any map crafting option applied to them to be modified unpredictably when opened. Your maps modified this way having 1 to 3 additional random map modifiers. Huh. So if I have an 8 mod corrupted map, can I have an 11 mod map? I don't know where you read 8 mod maps being gone. I didn't read or see that anywhere. I mean, unless it's further down here, it could be, but I haven't read that yet. The number of additional bosses summoned by destructive play. Oh, the number of additional bosses summoned by the destructive play Atlas Keystone passive is now higher if there were fewer monsters remaining in the map. Oh, I like that. I like that. No more jumping into Mesa and just running to the boss. Or just jumping up the ledge, kill the boss, leave, jump up the ledge, kill the boss, leave, jump up the ledge, kill the boss, leave. Nope. Can't do that. Gotta clear the map. I actually like that. Even though I played the boss rush strat and I did like it, and it did make quite a bit of money. It didn't feel great. It felt a little silly that you were just like ignoring the whole map. That felt a little silly. I hope this means it's worth doing. Add 3 new Scarab clusters to the Atlas passive tree, each of which has 2 small passives providing 4% increased Scarabs. 9 Atlas notable passives are called Scarabs in your map to be 100% more likely to be either Essence, Beyond, Torment, Reliquary, Cartography, Anarchy, Ambush, Harbinger, or Domination. I would like 1 for Reliquary, 1 for Cartography, and 1 for Ambush probably, and 1 for Beyond. Thanks. I will take all 4 of those. Added a new Scarab cluster to the Atlas passive tree, blah blah blah. Okay. Remarkable relics causes scarabs found in maps to be more likely to be less common varieties. Tuning champions cause the final boss of a map in each map to have a 25% chance to drop an additional scarab. 4% increase for the 5 passives. Okay, cool. Cool. Add a new Scarab cluster. Provides unique monsters in your map with 200% increased chance to drop Scarabs. Okay. Add a new Scarab cluster. 12% increased Scarabs found in your map. Okay. A lot of Scarab stuff. Added new Atlas stuff which provides your maps contain 10% more monster packs consisting of a difficult and rewarding monster. Added a new Atlas notable passive, Invasive Adversaries. Invasion? Like invasion bosses? Your map contains 10% more monster packs consisting of a difficult and rewarding monster. I'm going to need you to define rewarding. I hope that I also share that opinion because this sounds cool. But I'm going to need the definition of rewarding here. It sounds cool. I want it to be good. The 3 small passives in this cluster each provide 3% increased effective modifiers on your map. All right, cool. I'm going to need the definition of rewarding. That's all. Added the new Atlas piece named Chiseled Perfection, which provides 3% increased effective modifiers on your map per 5% map quality. Interesting. 3 small passives that lead up at 3% each, so it's just 3, 3, 3, 12, basically. Interesting. Do they still have the whole top hat? Or is the top hat being changed? Because there's a lot of travel nodes that lead into clusters that have increased effective modifiers on them. That's notable. Mounting modifiers. 2% increased effective modifiers in your map per explicit map modifier. Okay. 2 small passives are 3% each again. New notable called Treasure Hunter now causes incursions in your map to contain cursed treasures. Okay. Yep. Love me some cursed treasure. What the fuck is that? Well, there are 3 passives, each running 8% chance for Alva. Sure. A new Delve cluster. Price of progress. Voltaxic sulfite and chests found in your map contain doomed spirits. First of all, chests? What do you mean chests? Also doomed spirits? What do you mean doomed spirits? Okay. With the 2 small passives, each providing 8% chance. Cool. Oh, indoor maps, the sulfites are just chests. Right, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So doomed spirits is the yep. All right, cool. Added a new beastry cluster. Causes red beasts in your map to have a 50% chance to break free. Beasts which break free in your map gain bestial rage, and defeating this beast grants your hunter's cunning per bestial rage on defeated target. The 2 small passives in this cluster. What the fuck is that? What is this? What is this? This needs a tooltip when I mouse over it. There's so much changing this league, man. Okay, add a new blah blah notable called Test of Loyalty cluster. All right. It provides syndicate members obtain an additional equipment item when appearing in your maps, and 20% more rarity of items from defeated 20% more rarity of items from defeated syndicate members in your map per equipped item they have. Huh. And again, 8% chance. Interesting. Okay, so a new Beyond cluster called Demon Power, which causes you to gain demonic power upon defeating a Beyond boss in your map. Okay, what's demonic power? Yo, there's so much. I need to know so much more. Defeating a Beyond boss on your map, your entrance passive cluster is 4%. Sure. Entrance passive to the cluster have 4% chance for your maps to attract beyond demons and cause portals to have 4% increased merging radius. And okay, sure, whatever. Great Migration Atlas Notables was replaced by Two-Hearted Hunt. This causes red beast captured in your map to have a 50% chance to gain a modifier that provides a chance to not be consumed when sacrificed at the blood altar. This causes red beasts in your map to have an additional bestiary modifier. 3 small passives are now 8% instead. Yo, everything is changed. We gotta relearn everything, man. This is fantastic. Secret operations has been renamed secret compartments. No longer causes strongbox in your map to have a 6% chance to contain an operative strongbox, and instead causes strongbox opening in your map to have a 10% chance to be opened again. Okay. Sometimes I hate the chance to be opened again, but sometimes I get to open a really good strongbox. The best I've ever had was 5 times in a row, which was insanely fun. I loved that. So, sure. Subtle manipulation Atlas notable has been replaced. It now causes, with some new one called amplified artifacts, it now causes rare monsters in your map to have a 50% increased chance to drop Scarab per monster modifier affecting them. Okay, cool. The 4 small passives in a cluster that provide final map boss have a 1% chance to drop additional Scarab have been replaced with 2 small passives that each give 6% increased Scarabs. Okay, cool. The Conqueror Atlas notable now provides map bosses have 100% increased chance to drop a Conqueror map, previously 30%. Huge. 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 The Conquered and Conqueror Atlas notables. Oh, we already did that. Amplified. All right, let's see. Now causes imprisoned monsters in your map to have at least 1 essence at the highest possible tier. Whoa! Whoa! The amplified energies Atlas passive notable passives have what is that? Is that a buff or is that worse? One is going to be higher. One is going to be the highest possible tier. But all the others don't get the +1. I don't know if that's a buff or a nerf. Yo. Chat man, thank you for becoming a member. Uh-oh. Neon Amber also? Oh god, why are there so many? What's going on? What's happening? What is happening over there? And I don't actually see any of it. Wait, I do. I see 5 of them will go off at once, but I don't see if it was like a gifted or anything. I just see 5 people. It was 5, but I don't see any. There can't have been 5 individual people all at once. If it was, thank you all. If it was someone, I don't see where I'm supposed to see that. Because I don't see a notification anywhere, even in the chat. Also to Lexi, thank you very much for the gifted sub. All right. Continuing on. Crystal Resonance notables caused map bosses to grant random. Now causes a map boss to be granted a random essence modifier from any imprisoned monster slain on this map, and causes remnant of corruptions used on imprisoned essences in your map to replace all essences with one of the essences in the imprisoned monster. What? Sorry? It no longer has the duplicate? And it no longer has monsters imprisoned by a shrieking essence in your map will be duplicated when released. Or corrupting an imprisoned monster cannot release them. Yo, the duplicate stuff was the best. No. No. Do we get like better essences now, but no duplicates? I don't know if that's. I mean. Realistically, this just works out. It doesn't really matter what they do here because if you just get less essences overall, then the essences will just be better money individually, really. Like, it'll just be if instead before I was farming 400 essences in an hour and now I'm only farming 100 essences in an hour, then those essences are just worth 4 times as much. Right? Like, that's just how that works. So I think it's fine. Right. Angel Search and Atlas Notables are replaced with Just in Time. Just in Time provides your maps have a 20% chance to contain Alva. Sure. Vol clusters, blah, blah, blah. Now 3 small passives instead of 5 that are 8% chance to contain instead of 5% quantity. Sure. This is all extra chance. So this is pretty much generically around the board. Just all the small lead-in passives for everywhere have gone up to like 8 to 10% chance to contain instead of like 1% chance to gain a master mission. It's now like 8 to 10% chance to contain. So that's cool. I'm alright with it. Small passes, sulfite lead to packed with energy now provide cluster which provided 1% chance to contain now instead have 8%. Yep, cool. Yep, all of these are just focused investigation, new obsession, notable. Your maps have a 20% chance to contain Jun. That's really nice. Small clusters a 10% chance to contain Jun. Okay, these are all the rest of these just generically across the board. We've changed everything into big chances. There are now 4 additional Exile spawn chance nodes in the Rogue Trader cluster, each providing your map has a 25% chance to contain additional Rogue Exile. Previously 3 passives which provided 10% each, now 4 that provide 25% each. Cool. Alright, we got anything else, or are they all just chance? Chance. This is just generic throughout the board. Everything has way bigger chances. Yep. 10% chance for ritual instead of 5. 30% chance for ritual instead of 10. So it's all just chance increase. Small Atlas passives that previously provided 0.5% chance for map drops to be duplicated now instead provide 3% increased scarabs found in your map. Huh. Small map modifier increased effect Atlas passives at the top of the tree no longer specify they affected non-unique maps. as Atlas passives by default do not apply to unique maps. Oh, okay. Sure. Small Maven invitation drop chance Atlas passives now provide defeating a map boss while witnessed by the Maven has a 1% chance to also count as witnessing an additional random boss. Right. Okay, sure. Small searing items, blah blah blah. Chance item chance Atlas passives now instead provide monster packs influences by the searing X such in a map have 5% increased pack size effect. Now that's good. I don't mind that. That's real nice. Extra pack size. We're all going altar farming. It's the only thing left. Joking, but also altar farming though. Where's the bit that I missed where it said essences work better in red maps? Because I definitely I either missed that or read over it or I was just getting to it. Oh, okay. Right. Spoilers. Okay. Oh. Essence monoliths in white maps can now spawn up to a maximum tier of screaming, while those in yellow or red can spawn up to a maximum tier of shrieking. Oh, so yellow or red. So yellow or red. So you could, it sounds like you could just stop at tier 6 maps instead of tier 1 maps now. That's what that sounds like, right? Okay. Sure. Alright, no problem. History recipe for gaining 1 of each Atlas mission now causes you to gain 5 Kirac missions? Sure. Beastry recipe for Gilded the Winged has been replaced with Amulet and the Talisman. Sure. As a reward is now a chest to Essence Scarab. Varici is now Harvest Scarabs. Sure. Ashling and Research is beyond Scarabs. Those might be important. Delirium Scarabs of Varici. Sure. Just a list of who, a little list of who gives what. Sources of divination card drops, such as all of those things. Now instead drop stacked decks. Sure. Clasped hands and breach encounters now open when you run near them. Sure. Added 2 new harvest crafting options, one of which changes from a stack. Yep. Omens now offered as ritual rewards. Cool. Okay. Atlas changes. Synthesized maps now drop from map bosses in tier 14 and above maps, previously tier 11 and above maps. Honestly, it was weird that it wasn't tier 14, so that's fine. And are now level 81, previously 80. So, cool. Unique Cortex map can no longer drop from Atlas map bosses or be obtained as rewards from other league content. The unique Cortex synthesis maps can no longer drop from Atlas map bosses or be obtained as a reward from other league content. Where do they drop from then? That's fine, but where did they go? Okay. Synthesized map bosses and Maven Invitation the Forgotten now have a chance to drop as a unit. Oh. Synthesized map bosses and Maven Invitation the Forgotten now have a chance to drop as a unique Cortex synthesized map. So they just drop in any invite. Well, not any invite. Synthesized map bosses, so the normal 10 ways, and in the Forgotten fight. Oh, wait. No. Okay, I've misread this. Synthesized map bosses, so the four normal synth maps. So while doing that rotation is how you get Cortexes. Right. Okay. No, I'm cool with that. Okay, that's good then. Ew, map sub areas no longer have +1 to area level. Why? Why? That's an odd thing to do. I guess because you can do tier 17s now and they didn't want the sub areas to be tier 18. But like, I wanted the sub areas to be tier 18. Let's go. The following maps have been removed from the Atlas. Ancient City, Bazaar, Caldera, Carcass, Chateau, City Square, Colonnade, Colosseum, Core, Coves, Crater, Dark Forest, Desert, Dig, Ghetto, Infested Valley, Ivory Temple, Laboratory, Mesa, Mud Geyser, Overgrown Ruin, Precinct, Racecourse, Ramparts, Relic Chambers, Sepulchre, Spider Lair, and Summit. Oh, I have to get rid of City Square. I really like that one. I used to really like Mesa, but I don't know if I care anymore now that boss rushing isn't a thing. Okay, the following maps have been added back into the Atlas. Arsenal, Burrows, Belfry, Cells, Cold River, Courthouse, Defiled Cathedral, Desert Spring, Dungeon, Excavation, Forbidden Woods, Fungal Hollow, Graveyard Lair, Lava Lake, Mausoleum, Phantasmagoria, Pit, Primordial Pool, Shipyard Shrine, Silo, Sulphur Vents, Sunken City, Terrace Tower, Toxic Sewer, and Waterways. I do really like Tower and Toxic Sewer. Defiled Cathedral's not that bad either. Yeah, okay. Up tiers and locations have been shuffled, sure. I definitely just tried to move your mouse thinking it was mine. Yeah. Some of the bosses you required to defeat has changed. Yep, cool. Crafting recipes that were previously unlocked have been moved. Yep. Some divination cards found new homes, of course. The Gentleman can now be found in the Arsenal map. Insatiable and Mineral Pools, Tireless Extractor and Foundry and Forge of the Phoenix. Sure. I like Belfry. Belfry's where I found my first ever mirror back in Incursion days. So I have a little bit of a soft spot for Belfry just because of that. Okay, Kirac mods. Typically the map crafting mods rotate each league. All of these options would usually rotate in and out. All the options that would usually rotate in and out are now available on the map device, unlocking as your map completion. Oh, I actually don't like this. I was like happy that the 7th gate was removed because I was like, it really homogenized like the league, the Kirac mods of every single league. But it looks like they went the other way and just homogenized every league forever for Kirac mods, which, sure, okay. I guess. Like, I guess we got given way, way, way more control with these Scarabs. So I guess giving us all the freedom to select the thing we want every single league is probably fine. Okay, so we got Fortune Favors, Anarchy, Torment, Domination, Essence, Blight, Ritual, Beyond, Heist, Legion, Ultimatum, Abyss, Breach, 6 Chaos. It's for 2 breaches. Never mind, that's okay. Expedition, Harbinger. Harbinger's also 6? Oh, it's for 3 Harbingers. That's fine. Harvest is only 6 Chaos? 7C for 5 strong boxes is also pretty big. 7C for a mirror is not bad. Huh. 5 chaos for a legion isn't bad. You'd be lucky if you make 5 chaos back out of an ultimatum currently, and it doubles the length of your map. So probably not that. Although to be fair, maybe with the new ultimatum Scarabs, it's actually worth doing. But I'm still gonna make fun of it because it was trash. Blight and rituals are only 4 chaos each. Essence is 3 chaos and contains 2 essences. Okay. Domination is 3 chaos for 3 shrines. That's also pretty cool. Anarchy is 3 rogue exiles for 2 chaos. Okay. Sure. Player balance. The soul leader buff has been reworked. There is now a maximum of 45 souls that can be consumed, with each soul providing 5% increased attack and cast speed. For monsters, this buff provides 2% less damage taken per soul consumed. 1 soul is lost every 0.5 seconds if you have not gained any souls recently. You know, I always preferred Mage Blood anyway. Anyway, maximum chance to block attacks and spell block can no longer be raised above 90. Okay, sure. Instant skills can no longer be bound to left click. Sure. Unholy Might buff no longer grants 30% of physical as extra chaos, but now instead provides 100% of physical converted to chaos damage and 25% chance to apply Wither on hit. Very cool. Not useful for poison SRS in case anybody was wondering, because the gem conversion always overrides any other conversion you can possibly ever get. Gem conversion applies first at a much higher priority, so it already has 100% converted to fire. What we would need would be like an alt quality SRS that doesn't convert so that it stays physical, so that you could then use stuff like this. However, really quite a bit useful for a lot of poison builds that were based on physical, including for minions who can do it, because Wither makes them take more chaos damage, which means it'll also affect the hit portion, and 25% chance to affect Wither is a absolutely massive damage buff. Wither is mandatory. What this really does is make it so that you don't have to invest in Wither some other way, which is generally at least a 3 or 4 you link utility back, or skipping having to use like a particular weapon or unique or something else that would provide that, because you just get the Wither automatically. Plus, even though physical can poison, when you're poisoning with physical, you don't gain the buff to the hit component that Wither gives, because it's quite a lot of increased chaos damage taken. And even though it's a poison build, hit portions of that is still pretty meaningful. So, big buff, but not for SRS. Is poison SRS still okay? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it might be dead. We'll see. That conversion also makes you Fizz Reflect immune. True. Alright, skill gem changes. Monster life increase in 270 minutes no longer applies. Oh. Wasn't here. What did they do to SRS? They got rid of the 38% inbuilt damage scaling. It's 0% now. The 38% more is just gone. They didn't replace it with anything. It's just gone. So that's rough. Monster life increase in tier 17 maps no longer apply to the life of corpses in those maps. Okay. Absolution of inspiring increase in reduction of minion damage 250% instead of 200. Cool. Animate Guardian of Smiting. Guardian now deals 30% more damage with its smite ability. Cool. One extra weapon on the weapon of self-reflecting. Cool. Archmage support can no longer support brand or orb builds skills. No. Oh, you can't do Archmage brands? Yo, are you here to ruin my entire life? What are you doing to me? No longer has supported skill gain added lightning damage equal to 75% of mana cost. Now has supported skills have a base mana cost equal to 5% of your unreserved mana if that value is higher. It now has a supported skills gain added lightning damage equal to 10% of the unreserved mana up to 19. Used to have gain added lightning equal to 75% of the mana cost. Now has equal to 10% of your unreserved mana up to 19% at level 20. I don't know enough about Archmage to know whether this is good or bad. It's very different. Somebody clever is going to work that out for you. It's not me. I'm not clever. Oh! Oh! Full lightning of static can no longer be used by totems. Wasn't someone working on that as a league start for like the last 2 weeks? Rip. Let's subtract him, I think. Oh, subtract him was doing self-cast? Okay. I thought someone was doing this totem thing. Blade Blast of Dagger Detonation now deals up to 675 damage instead of 580. Still don't want to play it. Pass. Blade Flurry of Indecision now has 35% more critical strike chance for each stage. Previously 25. Still pass. You can make that 350. I still don't want to play it, man. Blade Trap of Great Sword now has 180% damage instead of 140. Wasn't this one getting used? I thought this one was already getting used. I still don't want to play it. Blade Vortex of the Scythe now deals approximately 25% more damage at all levels. Has a 200% damage effectiveness instead of 160. Still don't want to play it. Blink Arrow of Prismatic Clones. Clones now deal 25% more damage with elemental arrows. I swear that was already getting used and was already quite strong. Wasn't it? Thought that was already getting used and was quite good. Cleave Rage does 1.1 meter radius per 5 rage, previously per 3 rage. Okay, so Cleave Rage got too much area, apparently. Gotta nerf that cleave. Divine Eye of Holy Lightning. It's just a bit more damage. And a bit less area. So a bit more area. Still don't want to play it. Stunning Blow of Inspiration, 2250 instead of 200. Still don't care. Essence Strain of Desperation now deals 50% more damage over time at all gem levels. Now has lose life and energy shield equal to 0.3% of the debuff damage, previously 0.2. Meh. Explosive Concoction of Destruction, bit more multi, still meh. Explosive Trap of Shrapnel now has 140% damage effectiveness instead of 120. Now deals 8 base instead of 7 base, scaling up to 952 instead of 851. The base radius is now 2.4 instead of 3, and 3 instead of 3.6. Okay. The base smaller radius is now 7 instead of 1.3, up to 1.3 instead of 1.9. Ooh. Okay, so I got real excited at the beginning there because Explosive Trap of Shrapnel is probably the best trap standing right now, is probably the best trap in the game with the highest single target. And then I was reading it's getting buffed, which it absolutely did not need. And then I got to the second half where they're like, actually, you're allowed to do more damage per hit, but we're gonna spread that shit out and give it less area and have it have less overlaps. I'm going to need Fearless Dumbo to tell me whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Fearless Dumbo, what's up? Let me know. Sanguinated Transmission now costs 16 life instead of 14. Up to 46 instead of 40. Slower cast time. Gross. 60% damage effectiveness, so more damage. Now deals up to 401, previously 357, so more damage again. 26 base damage per second instead of 23, up to 1200, so more damage again. Now chains 6 times, previously 12, up to 10, previously 21. Gets a little bit extra base duration. I'm going to be honest, I didn't think this thing was that strong to begin with. And the answer to nerfing skills you think is overpowered is, and I can't stress this enough, never make it take longer to cast. This number here controls only one thing: how smooth and fun the skill is to play. When you make this number higher, skills feel worse. When you make this number lower, skills feel better. Please stop making things cast so long. Firestorm of Pelting now has 10 Firestorms, previously 8, whatever. Flame Surge of Combustion. Burning Ground now deals 35% damage instead of 25, sure. Flicker Strike of Power now has 50% increased crit strike per power charge, previously 30. Cool. Frost Blades of... It's really hard not to read that word as cannabis. Catabasis. Frostblades of Catabasis. Whatever that is. Now deals 20% more cold damage over time. Okay, sure. Frostblink, just normal Frostblink, now has 250% effective added damage, previously 180. Yo, wasn't Frostblink already a build. Wasn't that already a build that was like quite decent? That's a pretty meaningful increase from 180 to 250. It was like decent already, like worth playing, but not like out of this world good, but like worth playing. Definitely not a trash build. This might be progressing from not a trash build to an actual good build with this change. That's kind of cool. Maybe. Frostblink of Wintry Blast now has this skill's cast time is added to its cooldown if triggered. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It's 200% added effectiveness instead of 180 and deals up to 1300 at gem level 20, previously 1700. Fair enough that. Galvanic Field, Neil fires beams every 0.3 seconds. I'm still not playing it. General's Cry now has a 3-second, previously 4 cooldown. That's so you can actually use the support gem and have it go off often enough. That's all that is. Still got to deal with the mana, but whatever. Ice Crash Cadence now has 80% more damage with the main hand weapon, previously 50. Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation no longer has increases and reductions to spell damage. No longer has increases and reductions to spell damage also apply to attack damage from this skill at 200% of the value. Quality now causes projectiles to change directions one more time. Previously, it gave an extra 50% more damage. It now has 55% effective added damage, previously 65 at level 1, up to 70%, previously 85. Well, I mean, I was thinking about making a 1 build, but never mind then. Sure, don't worry about that new 1 support. Moving on. Lancing Steel of Spring now fires 6 projectiles, up to 8, previously 10. Okay. Lightning Arrow of Electrocution arrows now damage the final target 4 additional times after sticking in previously 3. Sure. Lightning Spire Trap of Overloading now strikes 8 areas, previously 6. Sure. Mirror Arrow and Prismatic Clones now deal 25% more damage with Element. Are you fucking kidding me? The other one as well? This was already like real strong. Like real strong. This was already real strong. The Barmer build was already quite good. Both versions of it just got 25% more damage. Maybe I want to league start Barmer. Oh, true. This is the Ellie hit one. People use the other kind. Maybe this just means the elemental hit one will be good enough to play now. I forgot that. People were using bombarding, not the Ellie hit one. You're right. Maybe you just get to use the Ellie hit one now? And now for complete and utter sadness, overkill of the 9th degree. Penance Brand of Dissipation now activates every 0.75 seconds, previously 0.6 seconds. Has 50% effectiveness of damage, previously 65. Now deals a max 347, previously 432. Pulses now deal 30% more damage with hits and ailments for each pulse after the first, previously 60. So this last change halves the damage. Then this one is like 25% less here. And then from 65% damage effectiveness to 50, which is like another 18% down or so. And then 0.75 activation instead of 0.6 activation is, what is that? Another 22-ish percent nerf, which puts it, I want to say ballpark, $20 to 22% of its total damage. I think it's just worse than playing Stormbrand. Like, I think this change right here, I think is good. 60 to 30. I think that's good. That's half. And then I think you could get away with either doing this bit, where you go from 340, from 430 to 350, or you could get away with doing this bit, where you go from 65% damage effectiveness to 50, and then just those two things there, and the skill would do about 40% of what it does now, which would still be quite good, but no longer OP. Then on top of it, they did the other one, and then the attachment thing, and that feels too far. That feels too far. I might be wrong. Maybe it's just the attachment thing that's ticking me over the edge of like that. This bit feels too far. I think it'll still be a usable skill. I just don't even think it'll be good, let alone great. It won't be completely unusable. It'll still be okay. But I don't think that I'm gonna play it. Power Siphon of Archmage now deals 15% of maximum mana, up to 24% instead of 17. Sure. Rain of Arrows of Artillery just gained a tiny bit of damage effectiveness. Okay. Raise Spectre of a Transcendence now has 4 at gem level 1, previously 3, up to 6, previously 4. Still don't care. Not doing it. Raise Spectre zombies are no longer... Oh. Raise Zombie of Falling. Zombies created are no longer usable by Detonate Dead. I'm sorry. Were people raising Zombies of Falling and detonating them? How was that not something I knew was happening? That sounds absolutely fucking hilarious. What do you mean? That sounds hilarious. What? Okay. Scourge Arrow of Menacing now has each pod fires 4 thorns and previously 5. Okay, so small nerf to that. Excuse me. Shield Crush of the Chieftain. Per 15, 12. Previously 9, so way better. 40% more area of effect instead of 10% more damage to close targets. Huh. The Scourge Arrow change wasn't needed, instead in the water without the poison convert. Yeah, I don't care about this. Without tinctures, I'm not using Scourge Arrow Menacing, so boss, don't worry about it. Shrapnel Ballista of Steel. Just gains more attack speed, sure. Sniper's Mark, frankly, is still fine. I know people got a little bit upset about this, and fair enough too. Like, fair enough too. We are going from, it was really 5 at gem level 21, which was the aim. So you are going from 5 to 2 projectiles, and from 35% more damage to 29% more damage. But Sniper's Mark has been significantly more powerful than every other mark in existence for quite a long time. This probably just puts it online. Like, you now might have times where you use Assassin's Mark instead of Sniper's Mark. And when you eventually crit cap and go back to using Sniper's Mark at the point where you normally would do that anyway, I still don't think it matters. I still think you're just going to run Sniper's Mark. Like, I think it's strong enough to take this hit, and it's still going to get used in all the same situations where it was used before. So I don't think this matters. It was been too strong forever. I probably agree with this change, which might sound shocking coming from me because I'm like a bow dude who's going to play bows like almost for sure. So meh, whatever. It's fine. I don't care. Spark of Unpredictability now has more damage effectiveness and a little bit more damage, up to 1983 instead of 1700 to match the non-transfigured version of Spark. Okay, cool. Sure. LA is a thing now. LA has been a thing for quite a while now. SRS should be fine since we don't care about the hit. No, we very much care about that hit. That is a 38% nerf to us, to all of our damage in the poison build. That is quite large. Spectral throw of materializing, sure. Just gets more damage effectiveness. Sure. Stormbrand of Indecision now has less damage effectiveness, a cast time that's absolutely fucking obscene. Just 0.75 instead of 0.35? Are you fucking kidding me? Now deals less damage as well. 515 from 686. And quality is only 10% more damage instead of 20. So like, this is actually, I just don't think I use Stormbrand Indecision at all either. I think maybe I just don't do brands. Yeah, I think maybe I just don't do brands. Oh well. I'm very sad. Summon Raging Spirits melee attack no longer naturally grants 0 to 38% more damage at all levels. This is a weird change to me. This is very weird because this is something that we were like actively worried about last time they changed the SRS gem and had to get like clarifications on, and a lot of people were like, yo, what about that damage? What about that damage? Is that gone? And they were like, no, it's all fine. We've rolled it into the base gem. And then everybody calmed down. So like, but now it's gone. To be honest, SRS feels like it might be dead. I don't want it dead, feels a bit excessive. Like, if it's something you really like, it will still have enough damage to function, but I don't think it's good enough with this nerf for me to suggest people play it again. I'll have to look into it a little further, play around with Path of Building and see what it says. But the suspicion here is that SRS is dead. All right. Chaos Golem's aura deals 30% more damage over time. Sure. Flame Golem's meteor skill now does 50% more damage, and the burning ground does 30% more damage. Sure. Ice Golem of Shattering, Golem's projectiles, 2 extra projectiles deal 25% more damage. Sure. Summon Skeleton of Archers, deal 15% more damage. Sure. Golem's Grant. Huh. Summon Stone Golem of Safeguarding now grants 15% of melee damage taken from Stone Golem's life before yours, previously 10. Cool. Tornado Shot's a little bit rough. Now has an attack speed multiplier of 80%, previously 100, so that's straight up 20% less damage. Now uses the same bow animation as the Puncture skill gem. I don't even know what that means. It now has more mana. 10 at level 1, 12 up to 12 instead of 10. So it costs 20% more mana than it used to. And then perhaps more importantly, loses its secondary projectile entirely. Loses its secondary projectile entirely. We used to have 2 extra projectiles. Then it got 1 extra projectile, which was a huge nerf instead of 2. Now it's lost its extra secondary projectile. It's lost attack speed, and it's using a skill animation that I think actually fires the skill at the end, where it like winds up and then releases instead of releases immediately. So 20% more mana cost, 20% less attack speed, no click and movement, and a secondary projectile lost. They might have ruined Tornado Shot. They might have ruined Tornado Shot. I mean, it's fine because I'll just play Lightning Arrow. It's the same build, it just looks less cool. But is dead. If Tornado Shot is dead, it's gonna be a 3 league for so many people. Also, what else was I reading? Hang on. Unearth quality, less maximum life, sure. Void Sphere of Rending now pulses a little more often, sure. Volatile dead after reaching the maximum number of orbs at a time. The oldest existing orb no longer explodes. They are simply killed. Whoa! That's huge. Okay, sure, whatever. Ascendancy changes. All right, we went through these earlier. Summon Radiance dude now deals damage equal to 20% of its life with a base radius of 4 instead of 30% of its life with a base radius of 4.5. So it received a 33% damage down and less radius. Honestly, that thing was super OP. It's still probably pretty strong. It's still definitely worth using. Mindless Aggression no longer causes the movement speed, attack and cast speed, or 30% increased damage. But now has 10% more and 20% more maximum life. So cool. Bone Barrier no longer gives you the bone armor or the recovery. Now provides 40% of life as added extra energy shield. This is actually huge, especially for Flesh Crafter. Flesh Crafter. That's the one. And has 1% of the damage dealt by your minions is leached to you as life. That's actually also huge. We had no way of having leech. That's just straight up 20% life recovery all the time. So that's pretty big as well. I think there's some opportunities for other minion builds now. I just think SRS is pretty rough. Over Ellie SRS, I mean, it also took a 38% damage buff or nerf. It makes up 10% of it here, but still pretty rough. Call to Arms Keystone has been renamed Warlord's Call and now provides Warcries no longer exert attacks. Warcries also grant their buff to nearby allies. Huh. Interesting. Added a new energy shield mastery. 50% of your energy shield is added to your stun threshold, which replaces the stun threshold is based on 60% of your energy shield instead of life. Oh, Blood Notch is just crying in the corner. Okay. Add a new mind mastery. Detonate mines trigger while you are moving, which replaces you gain 5% increased area of effect for each mine. Really? You said, oh, we're going to add this new mind mastery. You said we're going to add this new mind mastery that'll take the place of putting detonate on left click. And then you replaced one of the best mind masteries in the game that we were all taking with something we already had on left click anyway. So you took it away from left click and then replaced the best mastery in the game with the functionality we already had. Come on. Come on. Okay. The forethought notable passive skill no longer has 15% increased mana regeneration and it has 30% increased maximum mana, previously 20. Small passives now grant 10%. I don't even know what that is. Where even is that? Hang on. Oh, it's just there. It's just that one. 10% increased mana cost. That's the mana cost one. Okay, sure. Whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Even notable no longer has 20% increased maximum mana, now has 30% increased mana regeneration rate. Oh, okay. That's the one below it that's supposed to have reduced mana cost. Sure. Okay. Whatever. Unique item changes. Relicash and Patience unique boots no longer provide 30% increased movement speed. That's not the way to nerf that at all. That's not even... What are you doing? What do you mean? Guys, I just... These were like god tier bossing boots. Those guys walk from their stash to their portal which is usually one step, then flame dash to where the boss is, then wait for it to spawn, one shot it, and leave. What? Guys, you can't give unique balance to Zeb, alright? Like, just have him sweep floors or something. Clean out the fridge. Like, just get Zeb away from balancing, man. Anyway, American Cleric, thank you for the prime. This is fine. Whatever. Soul of Ascension unique gloves no longer have lose each soul every 3 seconds when no unique is in your presence, or maximum 50 eaten souls. It now has eat a soul when you hit a rare or unique enemy no more than once every 0.5 seconds. Changes apply to existing versions. Okay, whatever. The Extractor Mantis unique amulet now provides 10% chance to gain Chaotic Might for 10 seconds on kill. Previously Unholy Might. Oh, and Chaotic Might is the old Unholy Might. Okay, so not really a change to that. Just don't let it get affected by all the other changes. It's fine. Iron Mass unique sword no longer has 25% chance to inflict wither for 2 seconds on a hit with this weapon, as this is provided by the Unholy Might buff. This changes existing items, blah, blah, blah. It now has 200% increased physical damage. Previously 175. Okay. Sure. Okay. No problem. Right, item changes. Stacked decks, Diviner strong boxes, and divination cards, blah blah blah. So we know all that. The Void is now considered a boss exclusive divination card, and now has a chance to drop from the Shaper, the Elder, or Maven. Really? Oh, that's funny, actually. Whatever. Scroll of Wisdoms can be used on items that are corrupted. As a result, most of the items dropped previously. Most items that previously dropped identified are now unidentified. Fuck off, man. That was the best part about dropping corrupted items. That's stupid. Anyway. Flasks get corrupted for plus to minus 10. Also a change I don't love. The Veiled modifier that provides reduced mana cost of skills during effect can no longer be unveiled or crafted on flasks. Huh. That is a massive change. They have an obsession with making mana really awkward to deal with. And every time we find a way to deal with mana so we don't have to deal with it anymore, they seem to go just a little bit further to make it more awkward to deal with mana. And it feels like we're in a little bit of a fight with them over if we can solve mana and then they make it harder, and then we can solve mana and then they make it harder again. And it feels like they're treating that like a little bit of a mini game between us and them, when the reality from my side is that we are not aligned on what mana should be, because I don't get a kick out of fixing the mana problem you gave me. I get absolutely fucking annoyed when mana is a problem. It's not fun. I don't want to deal with mana. I don't want to deal with mana costs. I don't want to deal with it. It's not fun. Ruby, Sapphire, and Topaz no longer have the 20% reduced. They instead have 5 max. They now also provide plus 40 instead of 50. Not really sure about why that changed. I don't know about that, but the max res instead. Honestly, that's fine. Slaying enemies close together can attract enemies from the beyond, and areas inhabited by 2 rogue exile map modifiers can no longer roll. You can't roll beyond on your map? Really? Okay. Corruption modifier for maps. Unidentified item has been replaced with the one for implicit. Sure. At least rolling maps is less annoying. No, it's not. These were 2 good modifiers that we wanted. Rolling maps will be slightly more annoying because we took 2 modifiers we either actively liked or didn't mind having and just took them out of the pool, which means there are now relatively less modifiers overall, so relatively more often we'll hear the modifiers we don't want. Okay, there are now 3 tiers of additional elemental resistances during suffix, previously 5. Values of 20% at the highest tier, previously 40. Whatever. The dual suffix that grants 3 to 5% reduced mana cost can no longer roll. Really? Again? Stop doing this, man. Added a set of modifiers, strongbox, contain additional scarabs, blah blah blah. Sure. The tattoo shaman now provides 5% chance to shock. Okay. Ah. 5% increased lightning damage, previously 1 to 7 lightning damage. This 5% chance to shock was previously 1% chance to block spells. 5% chance to poison, previously 2% damage taken recouped as life. 5% increased chaos damage, previously 2 to 3 chaos damage. Guys, I'm only a little bit in, but so far they've replaced all the cool tattoos with tattoos I don't want. This is a little awkward. This is a little awkward. Hotel Naturalist no longer provides increased mana recovery from flasks. Sure. Yep, again, plus 3 chaos resistance, previously 3% skill effect duration. Chaos resist is fine, it's useful, but skill effect duration, we were using those. Now provides 8% increased mana regeneration rate, previously 3 flat mana. Now provides 3% energy shield, previously 10% energy shield recharge rate. That one's okay, I guess. 6% increased evasion, previously 80 flat. Oh my lord, no. Now provides 5% chance to freeze. Previously, killing blows had a 10% chance to shatter as if frozen. Everything is just worse. Oh man. 5% increased cold damage instead of 3 to 5 cold damage. 5% increased melee damage instead of 0.1 meters to melee strike range. What is going on? Stop it! Just don't put them back in if you don't want them, man. 0.3% life regenerated per second, previously 15 flat. I think that's sort of okay. 5% chance to bleed, previously 4% increased life reservation efficacy. %5 increased physical damage, previously 2 to 3 physical damage. Oh! Oh. The tattoo of the Namahu Warmonger now provides 5% chance to ignite. Previously, enemies you kill have a 2% chance to explode, dealing a tenth of their life as fire damage. %5 increase fire instead of 3 to 5 flat. 10% reduced effective shock on you instead of 15. That's okay. This is the kind of toning down I expected. Not like completely changing them to just be something absolutely worthless. 6 lightning res, previously 8. Yeah, that makes sense. 4% flask duration, previously 6. Like that. These ones make sense. 10% chance to avoid being poisoned, previously 15. Yep, this is the kind of thing. This is what I was expecting. Minions have 5% max life, previously 6. 5% projectile speed, previously 8. Right? This is the way. 10% chance to avoid being chilled and frozen instead of 15. 6% cold res instead of 8. 4% increased effect to your mark instead of 5. 10% chance to avoid being stunned instead of 15. 5% reduced crit damage taken instead of 10. So it's all like that. 6% armor instead of 8. Right? They're all like that. This is the bottom half this is what I expected. You can still get +1 proj tattoos, so it's all good. I didn't see +1 proj in this list. I didn't see that at all. Neither RMR nor +1 proj made it. No. Yeah, only the common ones made it, and all of the really good common ones didn't get nerfed. They got completely changed into different things. Right? Like, they're not nerfed. It's just literally not the same thing. Right? Previously 1 to 7 flat lightning damage. Now 5%. 5% chance to poison. Used to be 2% of damage recoup. Like, those aren't even related. Right? There's... Anyway. The Blessing of Moosh Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards corrupted level 21 transfigured gems. Okay. Sure. Divination card re-enabled, now awards a corrupted grand spectrum. Sure. Now awards Doriani's Epiphany Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards a corrupted level 21 transfigured gem with 20% quality. Cool. That's cool. Dying Anguish has been re-enabled and now rewards a level 19 transfigured gem with 19% quality. Okay, just real quick, and I don't want to complain too much, but just real quick. Was this change so complicated that it took a league to figure out what to do with the Dying Anguish card? Because I feel like that was a pretty quick 1-for-1. I'm just confused as to why that got like taken out and then put back in. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that that's exactly what it used to be. Like it used to be that it was just an alt quality gem. It didn't change. Anyway, the Hook Divination card has been re-enabled. Now gives a 21-23. Little Secrecy has been re-enabled. Now rewards a 21-23 transfigured golem. Sure. Ruthless specific changes. I'm going to read all the ones of these that I care about. Anyway. Monster balance. Improved the visual effect of monsters that explode corpses. Great. All variants of skills that deal damage, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. We can see them better. We can see DD better. We saw that in the video. It does look good. Rare monster item bonus mechanics are now rarer. And the following item bonus mechanics have been removed. Item drops are converted to gems. Good, hated that one. Item drops are converted to scarabs. I'm sorry. Did you remove my scarab explosion entirely? Item drops have all white sockets. Yo, wait, hang on. That's one of the cooler ones that isn't even broken. It's just really cool. Item drops are duplicated. Slain rare monsters give increased experience. That's also one of the cool ones. You get like all your gems go bring down the side of the screen. It feels really good. Slay rare monsters give increased gem experience. Oh no, wait, it's that one. It's that one. Wait, why? Why? These are just fun and not broken. Okay, look, the Scarab thing is sad to see the Scarab explosions go. I get that. I get that. And I'm also sad about the Scarab explosions going, but they're also like reworking how Scarabs work and everything. There's a balance change. This makes sense. White sockets and experience and gem experience really aren't fucking with the balance of the game at all. They're just kind of cool things to happen that feel good. Just random little feel good surprises when you're doing things. Why take those away? They don't have any negative thing. And then like why? Okay, anyway. Cycling damage reduction has been reworked and is now adaptive resistances. Monsters will come resistance to the highest damage type taken. Fantastic. Isn't that just worse than cycling damage? No, it's far better. It's not like 80% reduced. It's basically elemental equilibrium. Like it's that level of, it'll be enough that it'll slow you down, but if it took you like 10 hits to kill something, it'll now take you 12 or 13 hits to kill that thing, rather than if it took you 10 hits to kill, it would now take 140 hits to kill, right? Like it's not, it's just resistances as well, not resistant to the damage type. They explained it all. Like they were going to gain like 75 res to the thing, but you'll still be able to pen it. You'll still be able to like do all of the things. Laugh if you're a Trinity build, right? Like it's going to take longer to kill still, but it's not just going to be like oh well, I'll just wait here forever until it eventually decides to take damage from me. This is a good change. Great change. Fantastic change. Tormented spirits now have roughly 10% more life at level 68, scaling up to 50% more life at level 83. I'm on board with that. Lycia's lightning wave skill has received new visual effects. Cool. Strongbox modifiers that provided +2 to 3 and +4 to 5 to chest level can no longer roll. Huh. Okay. Mute Wind and Red Blade, Carnage, and Cash unique strong blockers now have +1 to chest level, previously 3 to 5. I mean, okay. So Inquisitor doesn't care? Yeah, I think so. Sacred Wisp support is now offered from Wisp, Sharpened Krill, sure. Sure. User interface added a notification for when you unlock map crafting abilities, added the ability to Control shift click stackable items to move all copies of inventory straight into a trade window and vice versa. I was hoping this would also apply to my stash, but they haven't mentioned yes or no to that at any point yet. Like control shift clicking chaos in my stash could just fill my inventory with chaos. And if I control shift click it with the inventory, with the stash open, it could just put every chaos I have away all at once. Right? And just, they haven't mentioned yes or no to this at all, but I would love for it to work with my stash as well. Even if it doesn't, this is still very good, but it would be cool if it also worked with your stash. Added the ability to hold control left click or the controller input equivalent and reapply sockets to currencies. Great. We know that one. Modifiers to an item placed in the Hoardy crafting station now show up all the time, just like in the other places where we craft. I'm not sure why it wasn't always like that, but I'm happy that it's coming now. It's like the only one that didn't do that. It was weird. It feels like it actually just got forgotten. Like, I don't even think this is like a massive change. I think it just got forgotten because they like already had the tech and it was available in other places and you always saw it. And then just this one place didn't have it for some reason. I think it just got forgotten. Pressing Alt or the controller equivalent on a map item now displays the monster level for that map. Oh, that's cool. Updated the Scarab thing. Cool. Okay, do we care about this? What do we care about here? Bug fixes. Don't care about that. Fixed a bug where split beams from Arc of Surging could target the same enemy. Okay, so that Ziggy debug is fixed. Expected. That was busted. The bug where the crafter percentage physical. Huh. Fixed a bug where the crafter modifier for percentage physical attack damage leeches life on weapons was a suffix instead of a prefix. Didn't know that. Not sure I care, but didn't know. Fixed a bug where Rage Vortex and Blade Storm were not cancelled if you swapped to a weapon type where these skills could not. Oh, that was actually useful, but for very few people. I guess it was a bug, so never mind. But like his wind tunnel could be affected by action speed modifiers, sometimes causing damaging areas to not match the visual area. Okay, didn't know that could happen either. Fixed a bug where the chance to freeze monster modifier only had a 1% chance to freeze. It is now 25. You could have left that bug, to be honest. You could have left that bug and no one would have complained. I'm just saying, being frozen shit. Fixed a bug where Stygian Spires were affected by monsters fire additional projectiles modifier. I'm glad this is fixed. This was definitely not intended. I'm super happy they didn't decide to fix this during the league. Because now that league is gone, this isn't going to matter for us anyway. But fixing it stops that problem from re-arising in the future next time something else can interact with it. So good. And also very much thank you for not fucking touching it during the league. Like absolutely thank you for not fixing that during the league, because we all knew that it was going away. It was clearly unintended and you just like let it ride, and I appreciate that. Fixed bug with tormented spirits would not function correctly when delirium demons split them. I don't know what the fuck that means. Fixed a bug where Penance Brand and its transfigured version could fail to remove energy from a target when detaching. It doesn't matter, Penance Brand is dead. That's an overstatement. Penance Brand will still be fine. Stormbrand, on the other hand, might actually be dead. Penance Brand might be okay. Fixed a bug where Iron Commander and Replica Iron Commander do not increase the number of transfigured siege ballistas that you can place respectively. Okay. A bug with a transfigured skill cooldowns could poison. Fixed a bug where the transfigured skills with cooldowns could poison sockets, so the non-transfigured versions with no cooldown would get the transfigured cooldown applied to it if they were later socketed into the same socket. What was happening? Fix the long-standing bug with lightning arrow's visual effect where the lightning strike from the sky played on targets hit by the arrow was unintentionally played on extra targets. In addition to, and sometimes making it hard to see, the beam style effect between them and the main target. Didn't know that was a thing. Didn't know that was a thing. Less visual, less lag, so good bug. Good bug fix. Any cursing would still occur if you failed to curse the enemy. Ah. Fixed a bug where the effects that occur when you curse a non-cursed enemy would still occur if you failed to apply a curse due to the enemy having maximum number of curses applied being 0. There was one or two like really interesting use cases for this that I hadn't personally explored, but I had seen videos on that seemed very cool. I'm not entirely, I mean, I wouldn't have classified that as a bug. I thought that was a really interesting game mechanic, but apparently not an interesting game mechanic, just a bug and gone now. So, alright. New Falk was granting onslaught even if it was not consuming the charges on use. Huh. Anything else cool? Fixed a bug where one of the favorite map slots did not state that it could be unlocked by completing a tier 17 map and instead just mentioned a tier 16 map. I mean, okay. I mean, whatever. Level of crafting offering gem now states give 6 instead of 8, whatever. There's tension between and microtransaction cosplays will. Client crash. Arctic skull. Weapon effects. Alright, cool. We're done. That's all of them. That is an interesting set of patch notes. One or two things there that Zeb clearly did, but overall, really good. A little tiny bit sad about Tornado Shot losing its secondary projectile. Even more sad that it's now going to release its arrows at the end of the animation instead of the front. Even more sad that it's going to get nerfed by 20% attack speed on top of everything else. But I guess we just play Lightning Arrow. Who cares? And you can't afford to use it. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be a different problem. It's alright. The more they screw with the mana, the more I'll just fix it again. But Lightning Arrow is fine. We'll just do Lightning Arrow. So basically the same skill. It's just the Tornado Shot looked cooler. We're still going to be playing the same bow build we were playing before, but instead of the cool looking skill, we're going to use the less cool looking skill that still looks decently cool. So whatever. Do whatever you like, man. Oh yeah, Sniper's Mark changed too. Ah, that felt warranted. I think it's okay. Obviously, we're just saying that until we see the new Kinetic Blast. Yep. Alright. Good list. Good list.